Well, hello there. Welcome to our little show, and we hope that we can develop your interest and get your support. There's two things we want to get you to do, if you will. And if not, then we'll have to do it without you. We have poorfortrump@gmail.com. You can send an email there and get an auto response, and that'll explain why we think that Mr. Trump was a good idea for president, and why we don't think that the Democratic Party is a good party representing the needs of the poor, or certainly not the blacks, but it's a bunch of people who use politics to get themselves rich, to advantage themselves, and the media is right involved with that. Don't pay attention to the news media. They're a bunch of people who have their own agenda, which is not your agenda. The news media person that you listen to makes so much more money than you'll ever make in your life by lying to you and deceiving you, but they don't even know themselves. So they just tell you what they think they know what to do, but they're part of a system that is against the poor and against you as an individual. And if you don't believe that, then that's why you keep following them and listening to them. And they don't make any sense. They don't know what they're doing. They make $250,000 or more. They're not in your field. They're interested that everyone should have free use of pot and get drunk and have a lousy time and be poor and pay a lot of taxes. And that's what they're into. That's what they do. You don't believe me? Well, then too bad. You'll be poor and you'll pay money the rest of your life. People use two things in this world. They use government and they use religion to take advantage of the poor and the people who don't really know what they're doing, but they're like sheep. They'll do anything, and they end up really being taken advantage of. And that's you, and that's me, that's most of us. And now there's an opportunity to do something that really could never be done before, and that is for many poor persons in the United States to get together and to work together and to practice democracy, the real democracy, and do something to change the way things are. Not by giving the government, pretending it's giving to all the poor, but by creating laws, by being frugal, by being careful how we handle the government's money and what a government's purpose is. And the way to cause that to happen is for you and I to begin to practice politics on a local level amongst our friends, with each other, and talk truth and be intelligent instead of being ignorant. And instead of every so often we elect someone that a bunch of other people have put up for office, whoever they are, they're looking to use the government to enrich themselves, to improve their life, pretending that they're going to serve us. But they don't serve us. They serve themselves. They local government, vote for me for mayor, congressman, council person, whatever it is, and I'll improve your life. And then you listen and watch what they do, and all they do is use you to advance the cause of the government rather than use the government to help you, either as an individual or as a human being. And the individual has no importance. The group does, but the group is always into something that's going to help the one that got elected, the ones that are going to be elected, the ones that are running the church, the ones that are taking money out of your pocket or keeping it from coming to you, because that's what they think they're supposed to do. And we think that instead of that, we're supposed to do what's good and help each other, help one another, be frugal, be conservative, use the government for what's good for the government instead of what's good for themselves, pretending it's good for the government. So now, two choices. Go on YouTube and look at our video, poorfortrump@gmail.com, and don't hate us because we're for Mr. Trump. We're for Mr. Trump because Mr. Trump isn't one of those politicians. He's not, whatever's good or bad about him, he's not in that job because he's going to get rich being president. The man's already rich. And he's hoping that somehow he's going to do something to improve the life of everyone. But the poor man has a problem. The problem he has is he's never been poor. He's not poor. He doesn't understand He thinks that only rich people can solve problems, but the rich people have been in charge of the government now for ages, and they never solved any problems. There's no poor person involved. There's no poor person in the Democratic Party running for office, picking anyone for office, making any decisions. In fact, if you're poor, you will be excluded from participating in that. The people who aren't poor are going to pretend they care about your interests and talk about them and give votes, but they're not going to do anything meaningful, effective to help the poor, except to help them to keep poor. And the news media and the Democratic Party are hand in hand because they all make a lot of money off of you, and they don't really have the same desires that you have for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You can call them the elite, you can call them anything you want, but the fact of the matter is, when push comes to shove, they're not doing things for your good, they're doing things for their own good. And if they stopped getting paid tomorrow, they'd stop doing it. Or if they were told, well, all right, we'll give you $100 a month, or $800 a month, or $1,000 a month, they wouldn't do it anymore. And they think that it's okay to give about $1,000 a month to most poor people from the government, and that's to take care of their lives. And it doesn't. It doesn't solve the problems. The government giving money to the poor doesn't solve anything, especially when, in doing that, they create a lot of poverty for working people. They take all your money from you in taxes, and they give it to someone else, pretending that they're doing something to help you, but they're not helping you. I'm having to do this by myself alone, so I can't figure out how to get this so that I'm looking straight at you instead of to the side. But that's all right. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll fail. There's a good chance we'll fail, because there's things about me that are different than about them. First of all, I don't want your money. I don't want to become rich. I'm not rich now. I've never been rich. I don't need to be rich. Fortunately for me, I live in the United States and I fell between the cracks, but I get enough to take care of myself, and I don't need any more than that. I do need friends, and I do need persons who want to see the government improve. And if that's one of who you are, then get together with me, contact me, read, respond, and help. Look at our YouTube videos, Poorfortrump@gmail.com. Put that into YouTube and you'll see 15 videos unless they cut them off. They won't like our videos because they really talk about the truth and they don't give you a chance to become brainwashed. They let you think for yourself if you want to. And if not, then that's okay. You don't have to agree with us. We run a church. We don't take money at church services. We give it to you for coming. And we don't ask you for money. We ask you for your heart, your soul, your mind, for Jesus, for God, to help other people instead of to selfish greed. And we think that works. We think that'll solve the problem. We want to get 30 black grandmothers into Congress. We want to get elected officials all over the United States who are poor and who will serve for the goodness of the country instead of to try and make themselves rich. They'll serve one term and then they'll give someone else a job. We want to get people together who understand democracy and want to put people in office who are like-minded. And we think that there's a chance we can save our country. I'll tell you, if we don't save our country, the country's gone, because there are too many people using the government for self-advancement, and that destroys everything. That's why it doesn't work. The few people that could do good mostly are going to be poor people who aren't greedy and who just like to help. They'll serve and they'll give up and let someone else have a turn. People who are like-minded, instead of pretending someone's a king or a queen or a princess and we're going to vote for the person, instead we're going to vote to get the job done. And what's the job to be done? To let people who work and work hard to keep their money, to enjoy it, and to have a future, instead of all the money going to the church and to the taxes and then going to the people who are running everything, and they don't run anything. They just take advantage of us. All right, this will be a 10-minute video. Who knows who will even see it or share it with anyone. We do need your help. God bless. Poorfortrump@gmail.com. See the rest later. Bye.